All right, here you are again. Here you are again looking at another one of these videos, hoping that I'll have some secret formula that'll help you instantly change your life. Hoping that I'm going to share with you something that is going to click in your mind and you're going to finally get up and feel like doing the thing that you know that you need to do. But the truth is, nothing that I say in this video is going to help you change your life if you aren't serious about changing your life. And how do you know if you're serious or not? If you're still making excuses to stay the same. Excuses like, I'll do it tomorrow, or I don't have the time, or I don't feel like watching the rest of this video, or I'm gonna click on something else because this isn't giving me what I need. Excuses. Right now you're probably thinking of an excuse to leave this video, and that's just, it's normal, honestly. You are not alone. You are part of the probably about 85% of the population that wants something but is not willing to do it. Hopefully you're not. Hopefully you're part of the 15 that's actually serious about changing your life. And you're not looking for some secret formula. You're not looking for something in this video that's going to make it finally click for you. You're here because you actually want to change. Let's just be honest. Changing your life is not convenient. It's not convenient, and we want it to be convenient. That's why we don't do it. That's why we make excuses, because we want change to be convenient, but it's not. There is nothing convenient about unlearning who you are and becoming someone completely different. There's nothing convenient about that. So the sooner that you understand that change is going to be uncomfortable, the quicker you can start the process. Okay? Okay. If you really want it bad enough, then there is no excuse that will stop you. If you really want it bad enough, by the end of this video, you're going to get up and you're going to do what you're supposed to do. You're not going to keep scrolling. You're not going to keep looking for the answers. You're not going to keep making excuses to stay the same. You're going to do what you have to do if you really want it. That's how you'll know. If you don't get up and do what you need to do by the end of this video, then you don't really want it. And you might as well just go ahead and admit it to yourself. But if you do what you're supposed to do by the end of this video, then you'll know, all right, this time I'm serious. This time will be different. No more excuses for me. This time I'm going to take action. So let's get into some steps. If you made it this far, I might as well go ahead and give you some steps. You've earned it. Step 1 is that you need to raise your self-awareness. And you have to raise your self-awareness because guess what? Even if you're serious about changing your life, tomorrow, you're going to wake up and you're going to be the exact same version of who you are. Why are you going to be that version? Because you have been this version of yourself so long that you don't even have to think about being this version of yourself. You can be this version of yourself on autopilot, which means that even if you make the decisions to change today, you're going to wake up and automatically be the same version of yourself tomorrow. But if you raise your self-awareness, you can notice that you're doing that, and then you can start making some actual progress towards changing. How? By learning to correct yourself. Learning that this is who I'm being, and I'm aware of it. So now I can start making some changes to who it is that I'm being. So in order to do that, you need to have a vision. That's step 2. Step 2, you need to have a vision of who it is that you want to be. What do you want your day-to-day to look like? What do you want to achieve? How do you want to act? How do you want to behave? Who do you want to be? Like, you need to have a vision of who you want to be so that you can know what you need to correct. If you don't know who you want to be, you won't know what you need to correct, because you're going to have to correct some things, okay? So there's this version of you who you're going to continue to be because you're being this way on autopilot. Then there's a version of you over here. That's who you want to be. In order to become this version of yourself that you want to be, you're going to have to keep correcting this version of yourself that you currently are. You need to have a vision. You need to have a clear vision in mind of who it is that you want to be, what you want to change, who you want to change into. And it doesn't have to be something that's completely like the opposite of who you are now, but it could be an improved version of you. It could be a 10.0 version of you. Like, you can be better. There is some areas in your life where you can be better in. Again, you're going to have to constantly correct yourself. So say your vision is, let's just do something that is small, not too specific. You want to be more confident. You want to be more confident. That's your vision. The current version of yourself is very insecure. So you should know that what you're going to constantly have to correct about yourself is your insecure tendencies, your insecure habits, your insecure ways, which That's what you'll need to raise your self-awareness to. All the times that you're acting insecure, and all the times that you're acting insecure, that's what you're going to have to continually correct. So you have a vision, you know you want to be, you've raised your self-awareness. Let's get more specific. You need to have some goals, some clear goals that you want to achieve, and these goals need to be achievable. Meaning, don't go out and say, I want to make $1 million if you never made $500,000 or you never made $100,000. Then you're going to be disappointed when you don't make $1 million in a year, when you shouldn't have set that goal in the first place. I'm not saying that that's not achievable. I'm not saying that that couldn't happen. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense for where you're at in life right now. So make sure whatever goal you set makes sense for where you are at in life right now. I have made this mistake so many times. I'm not even gonna say unrealistic goals. I'm not gonna say that. I'm just gonna say goals that did not make sense for where I was at in life. Saying that I want to make $5 million in a year when I've never even made $500,000 in a year. I've never made $100,000 in a year. That doesn't make sense at all, okay? Oops, sorry. So you need to have some goals, and these goals are going to be a reminder of what you need to correct. When you're setting these goals, make sure they're achievable. Something like, I want to lose 10 pounds in 2 or 3 months. That's achievable. But what would be even better is saying that I want to eat this amount of calories every day. That's even more achievable because that's something that you can manage on a smaller scale. Or saying that I want to walk 2 miles a day. That's even more achievable because that's something that you're absolutely capable of doing that. Saying that you want to cook healthy meals 5 nights a week, and getting more specific and saying that it needs to have fruits and veggies, it needs to have a specific amount of protein, and it needs to have a specific amount of, I don't know, whatever else you decide is healthy. Those are the type of goals that you need to make sure that you're setting. Why? So that you'll have something to measure whether or not you are moving towards who it is that you want to be, and so that you'll have something to make sure that you're correcting yourself with. Because remember I said, you're going to wake up and you're going to be the exact same version of who you are today because you're being this way on autopilot. But when you set a goal, you'll know what you need to correct. For this moment of the day, I'm going to take a step towards this goal, which means that when I'm taking a step towards this goal, I'm no longer being the version of myself that I have always been. I'm being a different version. I'm being the version that aligns with my goal. I'm being the version of myself that aligns with who it is that I want to become. That's what having goals does for you. One of my goals was to make sure that I get 5,000 steps in a day. Because the current version of myself does not get that many steps because I stay at home with my kids. And so I'm not doing a whole lot of going outside, especially now. Maybe before when it was nice outside, like I used to go for walks. Now I don't go for walks. So it's very easy for me to sit around and barely take 1,000 steps in a day. That's the current version of myself. Barely taking 1,000 steps a day. And having really no awareness of it until I think about it one day and I go look at my fitness tracker and I look at how many steps and I'm like, wow, you are barely taking 1,000 steps a day with no awareness. And it's easy for me to do that. I don't have to think about taking less than 1,000 steps a day because that's just who I'm being right now. Like I've been this way for so long that I don't have to think about it. Now, if I set a goal that I want to take 5,000 steps a day, and I write this goal down and I set it, post it somewhere that I can see it, that goal is my reminder to be a different version of myself. That goal is my reminder that I have to correct myself, that I have some behavior to correct. So when I look at this goal, I realize that I cannot just sit around today. If I want to get 5,000 steps, I can't continue to be the version of myself that I've been. If I want to get 5,000 steps, I got to be a different version. I got to get up and I got to go get on that treadmill. And I got to walk around this house a few times I have to. Walk around my yard a few times I have to. Walk up and down the streets a few times if I have to. I have to be a different version of myself in order to reach my goal. But there needs to be awareness. I need to be aware of the fact that I'm being the exact same version of who I was yesterday, the version of myself that I don't want to be. There needs to be a vision. I have to see who it is that I want to be, what it is that I want for myself. There needs to be a goal. My goal, 5,000 steps a day. And I get up and I correct my autopilot behavior, my behavior of just sitting around. I have to correct that. You're doing what you don't want to do. I don't want to sit around anymore. I want to get some steps in. So I'm not going to sit around. I'm going to get up and I'm going to take some steps, because I don't want to be this version of myself that just sits around the house barely moving. I want to be the version of myself that's very active, that's physically fit, that feels good, that has energy, which means that I have to correct this old behavior, get up and do something differently. So that's honestly how you change your life in a nutshell. It goes farther. The correcting yourself is going to go farther into more specific things. You have to correct your thoughts. You have to correct your beliefs. You have to correct your habits. You have to constantly correct yourself. You're always on the lookout for who you have always been, making sure that you're correcting that behavior that does not align with who it is that you want to become. So if I don't want to be this version of myself that is unhealthy, or if I don't want to be this version of myself that is insecure, if I don't want to be this version of myself that is not good with money, I need to always be on high alert for this version of myself and correcting that behavior so that it slowly but surely evolves over time into who it is that I'm trying to become. If that makes sense. Like, you're just gonna have to constantly correct yourself over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And those small corrections over time, eventually you won't have to correct yourself anymore, because those small changes that you've implemented over time is going to add up to becoming the person that you want to be. And now you're this new version of yourself on autopilot, meaning that you don't have to think about being that new version of yourself. You just wake up and automatically be that version of yourself, because you were doing the things that you needed to do for so long that it became a part of who you are. It became a part of your habit. It becomes your first instinct, and now you're doing it on autopilot. But none of what I say will matter if you're not actually willing to change. I really hope that you are all out of excuses today. Listen to yourself. Actually, you don't have to listen to yourself. Just be aware of what you do after you click off this video. If you are serious about changing, you'll get up and you'll do something differently. If you're not serious about changing, you're going to do the exact same thing that you're doing right now. That's it. Like, there is no secret formula. You just have to get up and do it. You just have to get up and do it. Like, the excuses, gosh, the excuses are going to be the death of us. I'm speaking from experience. That's why I'm so passionate about it, because I know what it's like to just constantly make excuses. Oh, I can't do this because of this. I can't do this because of that. I don't feel like doing this. It's not the right time for that. It would be better if this was like this. I could do this if this. We can find excuses all day long. How about you find an excuse to do what it is that you're supposed to do? We can find excuses all day long to keep us from doing what we don't want to do, to keep us from doing things. How about we find some excuses to get us to do what we need to do? How about that? Like, how about that? I'm gonna give you an example of some excuses. And I'm not even trying to be malicious about this when I say this, so I hope that nobody takes this offensively. But I have this program, and it's called the Reinvent Yourself Accelerator. And I've had a few members in it. A lot of the excuses that I've heard from the people, and again, please nobody take this to heart. A lot of the excuses that I've heard from the people that have joined this program is that they didn't feel like it was convenient to have to go on the website and like actually go out of their way to type the website in so that they could be a part of the program. And me, I'm someone who likes to make things super easy for people. Like, I take everybody's feedback into consideration. When you give me constructive criticism, I listen. So I spent weeks trying to figure out, all right, how to make this an app. How do you make this an app? How can I make, and I finally figured out how to make it an app. But as I'm designing the app, I'm like, will this even matter if I make this an app? Will this be the thing that makes people decide, okay, it's an app now, I'll do it. I'll do it now because it's an app. I thought about myself, how many personal development apps do I have on my phone that I do not open up? Not because they're not good apps, but because I'm just not willing to do it. And so, I don't know, I might make the app, I might not. The point of the story is, We just make excuses. That's it. It had nothing to do with whether it was on a website or on an app. If you're willing to do something, you're going to be willing to do it. If you're not, you're going to make an excuse. We rationalize the reason why we don't get things done to make ourselves feel better. I think it was like Dr. Myro, he was like, when we rationalize, it's like rational lies. We're just telling ourselves lies that seem rational so that we can keep us, so that we don't have to do the things that we know we're supposed to do. Like, so that it sounds better to us. Oh, I'm not doing this because of this. I'm not doing this because of that. No, you're not doing it because you just don't want to. And that's okay. But just be honest with yourself. And I'm perfectly fine with that. But it just breaks my heart when I see people with potential. When I see people that, and I know that you could just, I know what you want out of life. And I know that you're more than capable of achieving it. But you were standing in your own way. You and your excuses are standing in your own way. Like, there's nothing that anybody can say or do that is going to make you do what you need to do if you don't want to do it, if you don't feel like doing it, if you don't make yourself do it. Like, it really is all up to you. You really just have to get out of your own way. You got to stop making excuses. That is really nothing to it, but just do it. You just got to get up and do it. And this video is becoming a lot longer than I wanted to. That is the end of my TED Talk. If you watched to this point, shout out to you. You really a real one. I'm going to leave the link to the Reinvent Yourself Accelerator that I was just talking about down below. If you are serious about changing your life, this program is going to help, because it's going to help you. Remember I said, you're going to wake up tomorrow, you're going to be the exact same version of who you are today. You have to make small changes over time, and those small changes will add up to the big change. If you becoming the version of yourself that you really want to be, you have to make small changes. You have to do something differently every day. This program is going to help you do something differently every day, so that over time you can see the change that you want. I'm going to link it down below. No, it's not an app. It's a website. But that won't stop you if you're serious. If you're really serious about improving. If you're really serious about becoming a better you, then the fact that it's not an app will not stop you from using it. And again, the people that did give me that that feedback, I can see why you would say that. Like, I really am going to make it into an app eventually. But it not being an app, it still has a lot of great value, and it can change your life if you are ready to change your life, if you are ready for your life to be better. Again, that's the end of my TED Talk. I hope that these steps have helped. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.